It's time for another garden update. Let's get to it. I'm out here early this morning because it's supposed to be 100 degrees today with lots of wind. And when we get weather like that, it's a little bit like turning on a giant hair dryer onto our garden, so it really stresses things out. But that's just the way it goes. It's going to be that way till I think Sunday, and then it's supposed to cool back down to more normal temperatures. As you can see, the pumpkins are taking over this entire area down here, and there's that toilet with the petunias in it. You can't hardly see it. It's getting swallowed up by the Midwest jungle here, but it's back there. I have some squash that started growing in the compost pile, and I'm thinking I'm going to have to take those out because there's just not room for everything. The zinnias are getting over 4 feet tall. Some of them are getting close to 5 feet tall. Just about every pepper plant has peppers on it now. There are a few that don't, like the chocolate butla, the yellow bean pepper, and maybe one or two others, but the rest of them have peppers on them. We're starting to get a few tomatoes. I picked a few. That's really nice. The peppers are really going to town. Well, while I'm here, this topsy-turvy tomato tree has some tomatoes getting color. And I just did a video on the hybrid pepper project. I'll include a link down in the description in case you missed that. But those are some interesting peppers, a lot of variation in those 10 plants. Getting plenty of Oda peppers and also some albino bullnose. They produce a lot. Pink passion's getting some color on them. That 3945 is getting a hint of color, so we'll be picking that soon. We've been picking some cucumbers. Once those get started, they'll keep you busy, that's for sure. Got a little eggplant down on that Matoyo. Well, I'll just get out there and see what we can see. On the way in, this Little Fingers eggplant. Got little eggplants on it and lots of blooms. That's going to be loaded with eggplants soon. Let me get out here real quick. Here's that little Matoyo. And the Rositas are a little behind the Matoyo. They've got lots of blooms. So they're going to be loaded with eggplants, but they just don't have any on right now. Got a Mexican sunflower back by the fence that's starting to bloom, and then we're a little bit overcrowded with sunflowers by the fence. I transplanted most of these. They just came up on their own. Got to be watch out where I'm stepping over here so I don't break any more pepper plants like I did this big daddy pepper. It's coming back and it's going to produce some more pepper, so that's kind of cool. Poblano's got lots of peppers on it. It's going to be loaded. Shishito's got some peppers on it. Well, most of the peppers do. Just going to have lots of peppers. There's some Odas. Picked a couple of those. Looks like we got some more that's ready to pick. I'm showing you peppers. I'll just show you the ornamentals. That's a new hybrid that popped up from black pearl seeds that I saved. So that's interesting. I don't know what it crossed with, but it's definitely a hybrid. There's the Conga, New Mex Easter, Medusa, Purple Flash. Then we got the peppers in the grow bag are starting to get little peppers on them, fish peppers, getting that pretty foliage. Just getting a few little peppers. I think we got some on this. Yeah, this Buena Mulata is getting a few. Just everything's getting fruit on it finally. That ornamental corn's over 5 feet tall now. And it looks like the glass gem corn, I cut the tassels off of it and it's trying to grow them back. So I'm going to have to get out there and cut those down again. The Mongolian giant sunflower, I don't know, I'm going to have to measure these. I'm sure it's up there around 10 feet. Titan back there behind it's probably 10 feet. I've got a painter's extension pole that I can measure those with. I'll try to get that done by next update. The Mexican sunflowers here, they're 6 feet tall already and still growing, so I don't know what the maximum height on those is, but they're getting up there. Covered with flowers too. Looking really good. I'm glad I planted a few of those. The fennel back there, it's over 7 feet tall, and we have got an amazing number of caterpillars off that. I've been taking them inside and raising them up to be butterflies so they won't eat all the plant out here. And that's worked out pretty well. I've trimmed the sweet potatoes in the grow bags to make room for the ping tongue eggplant. And there's a ping tongue. It's got one that's about ready to pick, I think. They have some pretty eggplants on them. And this is a mixed bag. I'm kind of looking forward to harvesting that. We've had quite a few little toads up on our straw bales, and I couldn't help but wonder how they got up there. And I'm sure other folks were probably wondering that too, so I thought I would just show this little clip so you could see how they get up. We still have quite a few around our house, but not as many as there were about a month ago. Here's a quick look at the ginger. It's over knee high in this area, and why these over here are shorter I don't know, but they're quite a bit behind. We'll just see how those do. The sweet potatoes I planted by the straw bales to keep the Bermuda grass out of the garden. They're working great at what they do. There's a little marigold trying to peek its way out of the sweet potatoes. But the Bermuda grass, it tries to get into the garden, and with the sweet potatoes here, it has a hard time doing it because it's not really made to grow tall. So when I see some peeking up above the sweet potatoes, I just grab it and pull on it until it breaks, and the plant gets weaker and weaker until it just can't compete with the sweet potatoes, and it gives up and tries to grow a different direction. But it works pretty well. I accidentally discovered this last year when that sweet potato sprawled in all directions, and I've kind of created just a barrier around the garden. I even have some planted in the back along the fence, and when I went out to mow the alley, some of those were growing out in the alley, so they will sprawl in all directions. Something's using some of the holes in this homemade bee hotel. The holes over to the left there are sealed. There's one in the middle there that's sealed. Don't know what it is, but some kind of bee or wasp, I suppose. Then I've harvested one of these squash. Looks like I got one back there that's ready to harvest. They're long and thin. Here's one that hasn't set yet. I think they're a pretty good replacement for zucchini. I can't grow zucchini because of the squash vine borers. And speaking of the squash vine borers, we lost the desi squash to those. The bee balm's doing pretty well and is starting to draw in butterflies. I've seen tiger swallowtails, black swallowtails, and even a monarch. The tall phlox is in bloom. I like to top my tall phlox. It forces it to produce more flower heads, which works out pretty good in the long run. If you look, it's got quite a few flower heads right here. But if we go down, you can see right here where I pinched it off a while back, and it's grown. Instead of having one flower head, it's grown, looks like 4, and one of those is split off and grown several. So instead of having one flower head, you have a whole bunch of them. Our red hibiscus is just starting to bloom. It's going to be loaded. If you look at all the little flower buds that haven't opened, when it gets in full bloom, it's going to be something to see. We have another one right back here. Here's a closer look at that Hot Pops purple ornamental pepper. Be sure and let us know how your garden's doing. And if you're just now finding this channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Otherwise, like, comment, and share. We'll see you next time.